There are some celebrity stories you expect to stay private forever. And then there are the ones that burst out through leaked text messages, blindsiding the entire industry. And what Justin Baldoni wrote after being confronted by Ryan Reynolds. It wasn't just emotional. It was explosive. Because according to those messages, this wasn't a simple disagreement. It was an ambush inside the Manhattan penthouse of Hollywood's most unproblematic couple. And Baldoni says it left him completely frozen. But that's only the beginning. Section 1. Inside the apartment showdown. The night before filming was supposed to restart after the Hollywood strikes, Justin Baldoni found himself in Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively's New York apartment. And instead of a quiet conversation, he says he walked into a storm. In texts sent to Rainn Wilson the very next morning, Baldoni claims Ryan talked to him like a 5-year-old, scolding him, lecturing him, and reading off a list of accusations as if he were being interrogated. He says he was ambushed, blindsided, and left so stunned he could barely speak. But the accusations were just the start of what shook him. Section 2. The list that broke the room. Baldoni says Ryan pulled out his phone and started reading through allegations. Allegations he claims were based on real incidents but twisted, exaggerated, or ripped out of context. And the words used were heavy. He says terms like creepy and abuse were thrown at him, making him feel like the man they were describing wasn't even him. According to the texts, he was even handed a written apology and told to read it out loud, something he physically couldn't do. And that inability, that silence, only made the moment worse. Section 3. Baldoni hits an emotional breaking point. In those leaked texts, Baldoni describes feeling emotionally paralyzed. Not overwhelmed, paralyzed. He says it was a level of shock he hadn't felt in years. He admitted that part of him wanted to walk out, blow up the entire movie, and expose everything he felt was unfair. But instead, he froze. He told Rainn Wilson he prayed for the right words, words that never came. And when he couldn't respond the way Ryan expected, he says he felt like he was taking the wrath of an angry husband, standing there helpless as emotions spiraled around him. But the confrontation didn't start out of thin air. It had a trigger, one that most people didn't hear about until these filings surfaced. Section 4. Blake Lively's claim, worst experience of her life. In the lawsuit filed later, Blake Lively's team describes repeated, inappropriate conduct, not just with her but with crew members. They claim several people witnessed Baldoni behaving in ways that made them uncomfortable. And according to Baldoni's recollection, during the confrontation, he was told this entire production had become the worst experience of her life. Blake even specifically asked Ryan to be present, not as a bystander, but as her representative, someone who could speak for her and stand between her and Baldoni. And in that moment, he did exactly that. But what actually sparked this blow-up? It all traces back to one question, a question Baldoni insists was innocent. Section 5. The triggering incident. Baldoni says he asked the on-set trainer how much Blake weighed. Not for vanity. Not for anything personal. But because he had to lift her in a scene, and he has a history of back problems. According to him, it was a professional, practical question. But the trainer allegedly went straight to Blake. Blake went straight to Ryan. And suddenly, the entire production dynamic was on fire. That one question snowballed into accusations, anger, and a confrontation that would eventually end up in federal court documents. And that's when the lawyers stepped in. Section 6. The legal explosion. Baldoni's team called the apartment showdown traumatic, claiming it was humiliating and possibly even staged to embarrass him in front of Ryan and Blake's celebrity friends. Ryan's side fired back, saying he wasn't berating anyone, just being stern, passionate, and protective. They described the meeting as necessary, not hostile. Then came the lawsuits. Baldoni launched a massive $400 million countersuit for defamation and extortion against Lively, Reynolds, and their publicist. He also filed a separate $250 million suit against the New York Times. Both were dismissed by a judge. But the battle is far from over. Section 7. Hollywood isn't done with this story. Blake Lively's case against Baldoni is headed to trial in March 2026, and everyone expects more behind-the-scenes dirt to be exposed. Especially since Baldoni has also accused Blake of improvising a kiss during filming, something he says made him uncomfortable and was cut from the final movie. Even author Colleen Hoover has reportedly expressed disappointment with how things spiraled on set, allegedly saying she felt forced into choosing sides. And now, the internet is split. Some say Baldoni's texts feel like the raw, unfiltered breakdown of a man overwhelmed. Others believe Blake and Ryan wouldn't escalate unless they felt genuinely unsafe. No matter the truth, one thing is clear. This isn't just celebrity drama. It's a Hollywood fracture, and the trial could end careers. Conclusion. We rarely get a window into celebrity conflicts this private. These texts feel like pages ripped straight from someone's diary. Shaken, emotional, desperate. And when the trial begins next year, even more buried chapters might surface. So the real question is, whose version will Hollywood believe? Tell me in the comments. Are you Team Baldoni, Team Lively, or do you think the truth is more complicated?